The thing about losing your hair is it's such a big part of your identity. Like, I think for me, like my hair is so blonde and I've always been so blonde that it's like a really big identifying factor. And when you have cancer, the biggest fear is that that's what you'll be known for. Walking around with hair, you know, you're normal. And as soon as you lose it, all of a sudden that's all you are. Before I got sick, I was always a little self-conscious, just about, I don't know, everything that people are self-conscious about, nothing really in particular. I remember when they, after my first surgery, they told me, well, you're not gonna have a bikini body because I had this huge scar. And I remember looking at them and I'm like, yeah, that is not an issue. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think for the one thing, like your scars mean, I don't know, they just tell a story. Like having gone through all this and it's like you have something to show for it. And I remember asking the resident doctor who had been assigned to me if I was gonna have hair for the wedding, and she just straight up told me, no, you're probably not gonna have hair. And I remember being so disappointed that I was gonna be in somebody's wedding pictures with being bald. And I don't know if it's the power of good thought or I don't know what it was, but I just kept telling myself, like, I'm not gonna lose my hair. And I had made the decision that once my hair started falling out, I was gonna cut it off and donate it to Locks of Love. And so I think I tried to spin it positively, so when I did lose my hair, at least somebody else would gain from it. And so I went to this wedding on Saturday morning, got my hair all done, and I kept the updo all weekend because I just loved it so much. And that I remember taking my bobby pins out on Tuesday, and as I was taking them out, my hair was falling out, and I knew. And so I just I wouldn't brush my hair, I wouldn't wash it, and then I had to go to chemo on that Thursday, and I knew I had to wash my hair, and I was in the shower and I could see it was coming out, and I panicked. It was just the most awful thing in my head. And I went to chemo, and at that point I would have to do blood work in the morning, wait for my results to come back before I could start chemo, so I had a pretty long gap. And I had just been dropped off at cancer care, so I went and I didn't tell anybody, and I just shaved my head. I went down to the angel room and I got a head covering, and I remember sending a selfie to my mom because I didn't tell anybody that I was doing it. And I had so many great nurses over my time at Seven Oaks and Health Sciences. But yeah, there was one particular one, her name was Mariana. And I think, I don't know, we just clicked. Like, I really got along well with her. And she used to tell me that you're not gonna feel good unless you feel you look good. And so she would come in and like paint my nails and braid when I had hair, she would braid my hair and, you know, just all these sweet things. I remember one other time, this was, I don't even remember what I had been admitted for. And she was the charge nurse, so she was really busy, and she'd come on her breaks and she'd do one coat of nail polish, and then she'd go and do her rounds, and then she'd come and do another coat. Once I lost my eyebrows and my eyelashes, there was really nothing you could do to get ready in the morning. You can't put mascara on, I mean, to put makeup on is just senseless. So it kind of became like, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of nice. Like, also when you lose your hair, you lose all your body hair, so not having to shave your legs is a definite plus. You have to find the positives, right? So it sucked, like, I'm not gonna lie, but you just kind of roll with it. I knew I didn't want a wig. I don't know why I had this thing about wigs being hot, and I'm sure they're really, really nice, but I just did not want to do that. So I went out and I bought some buffs from Cabela's and wore a lot of hats, and I made it work. I remember going through the quotes page on Pinterest and that coming up, and I really identified with that at that point. It's so important, like, even if you're going through this awful situation, like, there's so much good going on in your life. You know, you have to appreciate the people that are there to support you and the resources and the fact that you're able to fight this fight and it's not over before it begins. And I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, for me, people say, like, oh, you were so young. But I almost appreciate it being young because I was just in school. I didn't have a family that I had to support. I didn't have a job that I had to quit. You know, I wasn't paying a mortgage. So it sucks, but you know, I had nobody that was depending on me, and I was depending on everybody else. And I think that that's something that you really have to consider, I guess. I don't know. If you're going through hell, keep on going. It's a cliche, but it's so true. Like, don't stop and think about how much your life sucks right now. I think just try and think about all the good things. The fact that you are able to get treatment, and for those that aren't, appreciate the family and the friends that you have that are able to support you. It's not easy. Like, nobody says it will be. People aren't, like, I'm not gonna lie. But I think, yeah, just remembering where you came from and who you are through it all. Like, you are gonna change, but don't let it change you. I think that's the biggest thing.